Hi. Oh my God, hair flip, I'm back. Like I never left. Christopher Burlester. So y'all know we about to get back into it. Surviving the Chris Stokes saga series, whatever. Whatever you want to call it. So we're back. Period. Hi everybody. I hope y'all having a good day. I kind of am. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed, but whatever. So hair flip. So it's time to get back. Like we never fucking left. So last time we spoke of this, hi everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Hi everyone. So the last time we spoke of this, we talked a lot about Marcus and Houston and Rasby, and we didn't talk too much about Marcus, but we talked a decent amount, about Marcus Houston. So I just said that on Station Head that we would get into Marcus as well, from the beginning of the immature group IMX and so on and so forth. So that's what we're going to do. So today we're going to get a little bit, well, actually a lot of bit into Marcus Houston. And also a lot of people did not know that Ty Dolla Sign was one of the original members of the group Immature. So that came as a shock to some people, because some people know, a decent amount of people know, but a lot of people don't. And the reason why a lot of people don't is because it's hard to find. Shout out to Sherry. Thank you, girl. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Sherry. So it's not easy to find, that Ty Dolla Sign was ever a part of this group. You really have to do a lot of digging, if you're, seeking that type of information, because it's not a secret, but it's just not public. You see what I mean? So it's not that it's a secret. They just nobody talks about it. So we're gonna get into that too. So without further ado, let's just get right into this. And we will be on Station Head right after this. Absolutely. So Christopher Stokes, he be trying to come for me low key, and I really don't care. Chris, I'm not harassing you. I'm not doing any of that. I am stating a bunch of public information. Okay? Christopher. So that's why I say I'm not afraid of you. I'm not out here bashing your name. I'm not out here writing your name next to the word, the M word, or, calling, putting your name next to predator, and all that. I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm just stating what's public. All right. And Raz B, he keeps coming forward. Okay. Even with the back pedal, he still keeps coming forward. It's just something, whatever. So here, flip. So I'm not going to stop talking about this because it's something to talk about. Okay. So I'm not about to come on here every day with same old shit. No. Every time I talk about this, I bring new topics. I bring new information. I always bring receipts with set information so you could go look at the source yourself. It's not no I heard, type of no, it's boom. This is why I saw this. It's not like, I'm just on here making stuff up about you, Chris. That's not what I do. I didn't make up any accusation about you and Raz B. Raz did that. I didn't make up an accusation about you and Quentin Tarver. Quentin Tarver did that. So I'm gonna need your fight to be with them. I don't understand why you're more upset with me, Christopher, than you are with them. The only reason, Chris, I can see why you're so upset with me is because I'm talking about it and they aren't. So you would rather their energy, silence, them try to avoid it. You would rather that, But since I speak of it, of course you're gonna have a bigger issue than me because I'm doing it on a public scale. This isn't kitchen talk. None of that shit. This is boom. It's all up in your girl. And it's all public knowledge. So if you don't like it, Christopher, I would advise you to go talk to these people. Just like I'm putting up the receipts for other people to go and verify for themselves. You can too, you beige bitch. So yeah, I'm not worried about you. I'm not afraid. I'm not on here bashing you. If you feel bashed, stop touching on people churn and shit. Motherfucker. So if you feel that way, all of this information, I didn't put this information out here. I didn't write this shit. These are my articles. These are my blogs. I don't own TMZ. I don't own none of that shit. Yet you are in all of those places. Speaking of all of these accusations. So shut the fuck up. So if you're so pressed, go stand in the mirror and hoop and holler, because that's what you're supposed to be mad at, motherfucker. Yourself. I didn't do this shit. You did. Shit, get with the program, bitch. Thank you, Latoya. Thank you, girl. I appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Antoinette. We stand with you, Sean. We support the victims and the victim shamers. Period. So it's just like, yeah, I'm not worried about you. I'm just not. Okay. Chris Stokes has sued a blogger before for talking about this subject, and I don't give a damn. Like I said, even if he does try and sue me, gag order me, all of that shit, oh well. I'm gonna follow exactly what the law allows me to do. I'm not Tasha K. I'm not on here bringing people on here, making shit up about you. Chris, the only person I brought onto my show to speak of you was your cousin. Your blood cousin. Whenever you get through, I'm not bringing random ex-roommates and shit on here saying what the fuck you did. First-hand people. Victims. Shit, whenever you get through. A victim, your cousin, came onto my show and stated what he stated. If you have a problem with that, talk it up with him. Sit down and talk to him. You need to talk to me. Talk to me about what? I never said you touched me. And anybody that I'm alleging that towards you, Christopher, it's on the screen. So your issue is there. You're on the wrong side of the screen, bitch. You mad at me. No, get on the other side of the screen, ho. Shoot, whenever you get through. But you so mad at me. Because I keep bringing it up. Oh, well. Shit, go do your time. How about that? Then we'll just leave it the fuck alone. I ain't arguing about no goddamn R. Kelly. He in jail. What else do I want for him? What else can happen to him? I don't want R. Kelly to die. But if he did what he did to those women, go to jail. I don't give a fuck about you being black. So, your black ass shouldn't have been doing what your ass was doing. Shit, that's what it is. So I'm not attacking you, Chris, because you're black. No, us as black people know who the fuck you are. And what's understood doesn't need to be explained. But you got a couple white homies with some shit in common, and we're going to talk about them too. The Euros of the pen. Yep, we're going to talk about one today. We're also. Yeah, we're going to talk about one today. One of your buddies. We're going to talk about, one of your buddies. He just so happens to be white as well. Yeah, how about that? So hair flip. Now let's get into this shit. Shout out to H Show Biz. So let's get into Marques Houston. Marques Houston biography. Since only a kid, Marques has been pushing his luck in Hollywood as a child star and a raunchy singer. Raunchy. Y'all said raunchy. He shouldn't have been raunchy as no fucking child. But anyways. So, okay. Before he finally succeeded in making a transition as a mature musician. Title of the new album says it all, though veteran, whatever. He tried to show people how he had stepped into a larger phase of life. Released on March 20th, the 11 tracks album told everyday stories such as relationships, breakups, and love songs, something that he missed in the previous two albums. Whatever. The first single, Favorite Girl, was released in 2006 prior to the album, and the second single, Circle, which released in April 2007. Now, this is around all the allegations, because Raz B first came out with said information about Chris Stokes and Marques Houston in 2007. So that's why I'm reading this article, because, okay, so let's get into it. So, he hoped to gain attention from his fans through this one, since it's claimed his personal song, okay? Born on August 4th, 1981 in Los Angeles, California, the couple Michael and Carolyn Houston, Marques Barrett Houston inherited the African and Mexican. I told y'all he had a little bit of Mexican in him. I told y'all he had some burritos and enchiladas in him. I told y'all. I try to tell you. As a kid, he had been dreaming big of becoming a celebrity, and thus with childhood mates Jerome Romeo Jones and Don Half-Pint Santos, he formed in the band Immature. It was not some cheesy band that rubbed off after some time, but these kids were pretty determined to make it through to Hollywood. Unfortunately, in the early of the career as a band, Immature had to lose one of its members, Don, and that's a lie because they lost two members. Technically, three. Technically, three. So it wasn't just Don and Ty Dolla $ign. They also had another member, technically, and we about to get into that. So technically, it was three members. But moving right along. So yeah. Okay, where was this? Sorry, y'all. Okay. Don, due to his parents' demand to quit. So that's why they say Don quit, and we're gonna get into that too. It's about to get juicy. Trust me. Stick around. This is going to get juicy. Houston, as the vanguard of the band, quickly found a replacement. Keldon LDB, Kelsey, was recruited as the third member who was about to see the first taste of success from the band. Starting by hooking up with the Afro-American producer Chris Stokes and signing a deal with Virgin Records, the band released debut single On Our Worst Behavior on September 22nd, 1992. It received a moderate reception, but the band still managed to produce 3 more albums as Immature. Marques, during this time, explored his acting talent by lending his voice to the character Khalil in Bebe's Kids in 1992. That next year, while concentrating on his music career, he also appeared as guest star along the other 2 Immature members in the TV series A Different World for 2 episodes. And I remember them episodes, so he was bad as hell. In 1994, that Marques garnered a more memorable role as Roger Evans on the TV series Sister Sister, but he was dropped from it due to a real life situation that he could not miss. First, the last days of it say her, but I think it meant his mother, who suffered from cancer, and second, the opportunity to fly away with his own show together with Immature. So he left the show Sister Sister because his mom was dying from cancer, and because he wanted to go on a tour with Immature, which I don't believe that was his decision. I believe it was Chris Stokes, because Immature had everything to do with Chris Stokes. So if Immature was going to go forward, if they had got a deal, which they had obviously got a touring deal, they can't do the tour without Marques. And Marques was on Sister Sister. So you can't film and be overseas or wherever, touring at the same time. Marques wasn't necessarily touring while because he had it set up was that he would film Sister Sister and then go back, on the road with Immature. But this required all of Marques's time. So I believe it was Chris Stokes' executive decision to remove Marques from Sister Sister and bring him on tour with Immature, because Immature was Chris Stokes' group and they could not succeed without Marques. He was the fucking lead singer. Like, they need him. Like with B2K, they can go on tour without Omarion, but they need him. Omarion is very essential. So it's kind of hard, like when B2K was trying to go on tour without Omarion, they was trying to get like Ray J, as the stand-in for Omarion and stuff like that. That's hard to do because Omarion is a full-out performer. He can dance. I mean, he got the full package. So and Ray J is not Omarion. Like, no, his fans are gonna. B2K expects Omarion. So it was the same thing with Immature. They expected Batman, Marques. So Chris removed that boy from Sister Sister. Keep it real. Like, that's the truth. Chris took him out of it. Girl. Anyways. So, but after 2 years, okay, my fault. Let me go back to right here. In 1995, he wrote a song titled Please Don't Go to encourage his mother in battling with the disease. It was featured in Immature's album, We Got It, but 2 years later, his mother gave up to the deadly cancer, making him a grieving young boy. However, this did not stop him from releasing Immature's 4th album and landing a comedy role in Good Burger. Do y'all think that it was because of that, or do y'all feel like, the album Immature still happened because Chris Stokes was going to make sure this happened no matter what? Because Chris Stokes was there the entire time. Well, not literal entire time, but whenever Marques was around his mother, while she was suffering and fighting cancer, Chris was there too. And I feel that Chris he did that deliberately, because it's a hell of a connection that you build with somebody that is supporting you while losing somebody that close to you, like a wife or a husband. You know, like you can garner more love for them while they love you as you're going through something horrible. You know, so, and they kind of guide you through, you know, they're kind of that light at the end of the tunnel, those encouraging words in your ear that helps you keep pushing. So I feel like that's what Chris did. I feel like Chris used this lifelong sabotage, you know, manipulation and control that he had over Marques, and made Marques feel as if doing this immature project was still important, although his mother was fighting cancer. Because if his mother was fighting cancer, while his mother was fighting cancer, Chris, if you really gave a fuck, you would have put all business to the side and let that boy actually grieve the way he needed to grieve and actually collect those last moments with his mother. Okay? And I'm going to also pull it up in my next video that I do on Marques, but I hear that Carolyn wasn't too fond of you. So, and we're going to get into that. But still at the same time, Chris, if you actually cared about Marques, girl, yeah, girl to girl, yeah, gay to gay. If you actually cared about him, you would have let him use that time with his mother because it was very valuable. So within that 2 years that she was still left here on the earth, the majority of that he was dealing with fucking IMX, dealing with immature. What you should have did was let that boy take that break after doing sister. This boy's a workhorse, you know, at this point in time, just from here to there, from here to there, from here to there, from here to there. While his mother is suffering with cancer, how hard would that be? Knowing the person you love, your mother, somebody you have a strong relationship with, is dying and is suffering, and you on fucking stage. And you on stage. Where Marques and them went, Chris went. So when they went on tour, he was right there with them. So we're not going to make it seem as if you cared so much about Carolyn Houston, because if you did, you would have gave her son that time that he needed with his mother. You would have gave it to him. Marques shouldn't have did anything else until after those 2 years was up. Those last 2 years of her life, he should have been able to enjoy them, especially by him being a fucking minor. He was not an adult when she died. He was young. Hair flip. The shit is disgusting, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. We're trying to make it seem as if you actually gave 2 fucks about Carolyn. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. So like it says right here, in 1995, how he wrote the song for Immature's album. So when he wrote that song, that means his mom was going through cancer while he's recording, you know, and all of that. Okay. Then, but 2 years later, his mother gave up with the deadly cancer, making him a grieving young boy, not young man, boy. He was a minor when she died. All right. He was 16, 17 years old. You ain't 15. Shit, it's what the. However, this did not stop him from releasing Immature's 4th album and landing a comedy role in Good Burger. Why would he have been needed to do all that grieving his mother? Chris, you were forcing him to work. Don't nobody want to work. Your fucking mom is dying and then dies. Like, you don't want to work. You don't want to do none of that shit. Shit, he human just like us. Shit, he ain't no demigod. He a human being that have feelings, emotions, all of that, just like you. Well, you don't. But I'm just saying. So for him to act like he cared about Marques, no, you didn't. You did not care about him. Stop saying that bullshit. You cared about business. You cared about making sure that check cleared. So how the fuck you gave about? You didn't give a fuck about this man. So let's keep going. Okay, so I'm trying not to, but this should be pissing me off as I'm reading it. Okay, so meanwhile, his band was going through a tremendous change that included breaking of their voices, okay, and the psychological status that they were now mature boys. That was why in 1998 the band changed its name to IMX. This band would then release 2 albums introducing IMX in 1999 and self-titled album in 2001 before dissolving in 2002 due to different pursuits of careers. Marques, who had an album, who had been showing signs of going solo since 2002, had no trouble establishing it. He had frequently sung with the Mariana B2K members even before IMX parted ways. He was indeed the first member of Immature to release a solo album. Through the single Clubbin', entered the UK top 20, and the album received the back of the notable Jermaine Dupri. MH failed to get big success as an album. It sold 4,770. Good, that ain't shit. Oh my god, you sucked. Especially back then when albums was actually selling, because I used to just fly off the fucking shelves. Whatever. So refusing to give up, he promoted his solo flag through the Scream tours with B2K, Nick Cannon, and young rapper Bow Wow. Okay. So this just gets into his movie roles, and nobody give a fuck about none of that. So let's get into this. Hurry up. Marques Houston says Ty Dolla $ign was part of Immature's band. Now, here's a picture that I always show. Hold up. I think that's Romeo. Hold on. Where is it? I'm about to find it. Hold on. Hurry up. Hold up. I'm coming out. Hold up. Right here. So, this is Ty Dolla $ign in the group Immature. Now, if you notice, girl, he is in the group with Half Pint. Half Pint and Marques Houston were genuinely the first two members of IMX, or Immature. All right. And then here goes Ty Dolla $ign to the side in the group. That's him. Okay. That's Ty Dolla $ign. All right. And that's Half Pint. Romeo came and replaced Ty Dolla $ign. And then LDB came and replaced Half Pint. Okay? So that's not Romeo. Although they look a lot alike. They do. They favor. But that is Ty Dolla $ign. Okay? It's not Romeo. It's not. So I know you're probably looking at, that's Romeo. No, it's not. That is Ty Dolla $ign. They both beige, and they both got the same nose. And they got them cute, eyes. So, but no, that's Ty Dolla $ign. That is not Romeo. Okay? That is not him. And as you see, even the fucking, if you look at the bottom here of the label, it even says that this is Jerome. That is not Rome. That is not him. Look at the bottom of the photo. It labels the people in it. That is not Romeo. That is Ty Dolla $ign. That's not him. That is not Romeo. So Romeo came and replaced Ty Dolla $ign. And then later on, Half Pint left the group and LDB came in place of him. Okay? So that's already two members that left Immature. It wasn't Romeo from the start. No. Ty Dolla $ign was the original member of Immature. So remember that. This is Immature. This is the original Immature. Because when Romeo came, he never left. So that means that Ty was there first. Ty didn't replace Romeo. Other way around. See what I'm saying? So Romeo came in a group and never left. He's still in it to this day. So is LDB. So is Marques Houston. But Ty is not. So obviously Ty came first. Period. So here, Flip. This is yes, that is Romeo in House Party 3. Yes, that is Romeo. That is Romeo. He is in House Party 3. Ty didn't last long, but he is in other places, and we're going to get into that. So let's get into that. I know y'all are just like, what? Okay, so let me show you better than I can tell you. But okay, so let's get into this, and then we're actually going to get into it. And so Marques Houston says Ty Dolla $ign was part of Immature's band. Houston said Brandy and Ray J were the backup singers for the group in their early days. Before Ty Dolla $ign pressed forward in his dreams of being a solo artist songwriter, the Cali native flexed his instrumental talents in the 90s R&B group Immature. Previously noted in Ty's 2014 Fader profile, and we're going to get into that, he played the keys for the wildly successful Collective. Now, one of its frontmen, Marques Houston, detailed the extent of Ty's involvement. In an interview with Apple Music Beats, Houston shared that Ty joined the group around age 7 or 8. The Paranoid singer was discovered by Chris Stokes, who managed B2K. A lot of people used to say him and Rome from Immature that they kind of look like brothers. So they would call them brothers. Houston shared. So I'm like, okay, well, if you're saying if you're saying them, were they in a group together? I'm like, I'm confused. Like, why you keep saying them and all of that? I'm like, this is weird. So we're gonna get into that too, and I'm gonna show y'all why I think he was saying that. Okay. And so we kind of knew his family, and his family was musically driven. His dad, Big Ty, was in music and stuff like that. And Stokes knew his dad, me and Chris. It kind of just happened like that. His dad would actually help us program the music for our shows back then. So Houston, who remained in the mainstay film behind production for a few movies on Netflix. Yeah, we get into that. Ty performed at the Apollo and Disneyland. That's where the members began the first-hand understanding of Ty's musical background. Ty was actually really, really musically inclined back then because he would kind of help us do some of the program and stuff like that back then. When he was real, like young, he said, we were all impressed by his musical skill. Being that young, fast forward decades later, the Ty Dolla $ign that can be heard on his own melodies, Beach House 3 Project, y'all have Christina Aguilera and Kanye West. So he says, in addition, Houston said Brandy and Ray J were also a part of Immature back in the day. Brandy and Ray J actually were our backup singers then too. We were all a little stage show, he revealed. It looked like a little circus because we all had big hats and crazy stuff. Brandy was our background singer, and Ray J was a background singer, bass player, and that was the band back then. So let's get into that. So all of them were in Immature at the same time. Okay. So Brandy and Ray J were actually in the group Immature. Okay. And so was Romeo, Ty Dolla $ign, Half Pint. All of them were all in the group Immature. Okay. And you don't have to look it up, girl. I got you. I got you. Hold up. Huh? See, y'all know me. I come with a good receipt. I come with a good receipt. I come with a good receipt. Hold up. Where is it? Where is it? I come with a good receipt. You ain't got to look it up, girl. I did it for you. Hold up. I did it for you. I did it for you. Where is it? I did it for you. Where is it? Here it is. Bam. Look. Is my life. Yeah, are y'all ready for Mature? Yeah! I can't hear you. Are you ready for Mature? Yeah! What's ready? Just wave your hands in the air and wave it like I just don't care. Come on. Wave your hands in the air and wave it like I just don't care. Drop it. What up, everybody? Oh, yeah. There go Marques. There's Mark. Hurry up. Look, this is a big dumbass group. Look at this. Look at this. There go Romeo. And Ty Dolla $ign is on the keyboard. Brandy back there with the braids. That's Romeo on stage right there dancing. Ty Dolla $ign is playing the keyboard. That's Ty. They were all in the group at the same time. Mm. They go prove that. I'm just saying that's half pint. Going up, ain't that half pint? Yeah, that's half pint. It should be. That's Romeo. Marques used to look 4 years old, up damn near, walk around no shirt on stage with this shit. Look, exploiting the shit out of these children. That's a little boy. He should not be on stage like that. He was taught that. He ain't just get up there and do it. Everybody's shirt coats, all the boys' coats is open, and you know. Mm, that's Romeo right there. And Ty Dolla Sign is on the keyboard. He up there. That's Brandy, the life ruiner. Mm-hmm. Ain't it weird that they'll never talk about this type of stuff? I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder why they'll never talk about this shit. Why? That's all of them. Everybody on stage was immature, including the backup. That's half pint right there singing with them. And Ty is on stage. But Romeo was never the frontman. They pushed Ty. They pushed him because he was one that was actually talented, as you can see from today. You see, Romeo had a solo career. It sucked. Look at Ty Dolla Sign. He's doing phenomenal. He was the actual talent, and he was super like musically inclined at a very young age. You know, we're gonna get into that too. Mm. Interesting, right? Interesting. So let's get into it. Let's get into this article that we were on. Hmm. So this is, Marques Houston once again talking about when Ty Dolla Sign was in the group, but he was definitely there. He was definitely there. Sorry, what's Romeo? No, the person that was dancing up front. If you talking about who was dancing up front, yeah, that you are right. Romeo was in the group as well. They were all in the group at the same time. And these two bitches right here. This is I believe that this is these two right here. The Mayoko and Mila J. I believe that those are these two girls right here. I believe these two young girls right here are Miyoko and Mila J. And then Brandy is wait, my fault. Or is this bitch right here Brandy? Whatever. So but this bright light one right here with the hair down, that's Miyoko. I believe that one is Miyoko. But no, you're right. Romeo is in this, but they are all in here. So no, that's not Brandy. That's them bitches. My fault. I mean, saying bitches, but whatever. Let me get into. Now that's Romeo right there with the eye patch. Okay. But playing the keyboard is Ty Dolla Sign. That's Romeo down there. Now, wait till you get to the keyboard. Think about they're getting to it. It's coming. It's coming. They show all of the members. That is Ty. Yes, Janae's sisters. So it is all of them. It's all of them. It's Ty Dolla Sign, Janae, And then that's what I'm saying. It's actually more, not Janae, Miyoko and Mila J. And then that's what I'm saying. It's actually more members that got kicked out of the group because whoever is playing the drums, and I'm still looking into that because those were members of the group too. Those were members of the group too. And Marques said that they were all one big band. Like we were all in the group together, is what Marques was saying. And that's what he said. So then I went to go, and this is what I found when I went to go look it up. You know, I'm like, well, where was Ty? Like, I'm like, how does he tie into this? Like, where did Ty Dolla $ign come from? Because he doesn't like bring it up. He doesn't talk about being an immature, you know, or anything like that. So I was confused. I'm just like, okay, well, this makes no sense. And then when Marques said that they thought that Ty and Ty Dolla $ign and Romeo were like brothers, you know, look like brothers. I'm like, well, that means that people saw those two together, you know, in the group. That's what Marques said. So I'm like, well, were they in the group at the same time? And sure enough, they were. They were in the group at the same time. So that's when it made sense to me. I'm like, hey, okay. Because he said that's because I'm like, okay, well, that's when I drew a blank. Because I'm like, if he said that people said that they looked alike after Romeo joined the group, then I would be like, okay, cool. You know, like that makes sense. But he was saying that people used to put them, like to pin them together, you know, like they were in a group. So I'm just like, so they had to been at the same time. And sure enough, they were. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, this makes sense. And he also said that Ray J and Brandy were in the group. They were just background. It's no different than, let's keep it real, Beyonce. I believe Ray J might have been one of the ones playing like the little bass or whatever, because they say Ray J played the bass. So I believe Ray J is on the camera playing the bass. Because there's 3 people up there playing instruments. One's on the drums, one's on the keyboard, which is Ty, and then there's somebody playing bass and drums. So I believe the one that's standing there, you know, they're gonna show him too. I believe that is Ray J. So that's why I believe that is. And then there's the other person playing the drums. So I don't know who that is. So I don't know if Ray J is playing the drums or it's Ray J, because the camera's not too clear. So, you know, I'm trying to, you know, so, but whatever. And so, and then I looked again, and then it looked like Brandy was playing the drum. I'm like, oh my God, this shit is so confused. So I'm like, I just gotta go live, because I just kept sitting there just staring at the shit. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. I'm getting a headache. Oh my God. So, but yeah. So they were all in the group at the same time. And Marques said that Ray J and Brandy were in the group, you know, not just background. You know how the Supremes had background singers Beach. Michelle and them was background singers for a while before they actually started singing. So, but you're still in the band, you're still in the group, you know, so it's the same thing. It's Gladys Knight and the Pips. They was background, but they were still in the group, you know, so Brady and Ray, they were still in it all. Oh my goodness. So here, flip. And so moving right along. So now let's get into Ty Dolla $ign, because they say, you know, he mentioned it in his Fader interview that he did. So let's get into, oh Lord. Hey Ty. So let's get into what he had to say about immature, which is not a lot. So right here. So the son of the real estate agent mother and musician father, Ty began toying around with instruments before he could speak. He played many of them by ear, including guitar, keyboards, violins, and drums, which he practiced at home before his mother decided they were too annoying to keep him in the house. His father, so you remember when Marques said that Ty was very musically inclined at a very young age, you know, that right away, you know, he was even putting our, you know, sections and music and stuff together, you know, and aligning them, you know, because, you know, he was, oh my God, like a genius, you know, when it came to, you know, using instruments, because like his parents say, he was using instruments before he could fucking talk. You know, he was already, you know, playing instruments, you know. So here, flip. So okay, so back into it. So he can play many of them by ear, including guitar, keyboards, violins, drums, which he practiced at home before his mother decided they were too annoying to keep them in the house. His father, Tyrone Griffin Sr., Pops, bought him an MPC after he saw Ty making his own loops manually with cassette players, with cassette players, which is dope. You know, especially be doing that at such a young age already. Like, that is crazy. His parents split when he was young, but soon after, Ty began tagging along with his dad to the studios over LA, where his pops played trumpet and keys on a host of sections for hip hop powerhouse Death Row Records, and later with the funk band Lakeside. Ty met Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg as a kid, and his father scored him his first gig ever playing keyboards for the teen R&B group Immature in the 1990s. Now, Marques Houston also stated that Chris Stokes knew his father, Ty Dolla $ign's father. So that's how he got him there, you know. So Ty wasn't a performer in the group. You know, he was never there to perform. He was there for instruments. He was there for, you know, more sort of the production side versus to actually singing in the group. So that's why they actually wanted to push Ty. Well, Chris Stokes wanted to really push him because he knew musically, like even like behind the scenes, especially playing instruments, he was killer. Like, he is a force, you know, to be reckoned with. So that's why I feel like Chris tried to place Ty front and center, you know, and then the buzz with his dad working with Death Row. So, and then him having that little edge to him, you know, so it just better for appeal wise, it just looked better versus somebody like Romeo, who nobody knew, you know, still nobody really knows Romeo besides Immature, you know, other than that, nobody knows him really, you know, like, I mean, so, but with Ty, Chris knew that he had it, that he has this spark, you know, and he was right, you know, but it was very short-lived. And Ty does not mention Immature in his response. So there's no reason for me to even keep going on with Fader because he didn't say anything. And I find that telling, you know, a person that won't speak of something. Like, if it wasn't a big deal, if you were just in it for a minute, like, what's the big deal? Like, just say that you were in the group. You know, the article had to say that within themselves, like, they brought that tea forward. He didn't even bring it forward. You know, so you could tell he does not care to talk about Immature. He also does not speak of Marques Houston. You know, he doesn't speak of Marques Houston. He doesn't speak of Chris Stokes. So I find it weird that Marques would say that him and Ty were so close. You know, because if so, why don't he ever talk about you? He don't ever talk about you, and he avoid Immature entirely. He avoids it. Even when you look up with Wikipedia or anything like that, which let's get into that. The Wikipedia of IMX and Immature, and then it says band members. Okay. Band members: Marques, Kelton, Jerome. Former members: Don Half-Pie Santos. He's mentioned nowhere. He's mentioned nowhere. Even when you date back to when these pictures were developed, his name is not down there. And this is from my old magazine, Pop. Hair flip. He won't nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Nothing. Let's talk about when Brandy, the murderer, almost got Marques Houston killed. Y'all know she fucked up Romeo I, and then she almost got Marques Houston killed. So let's get into this. Brandy once had a near-death experience with the sister star. Brandy has been associated in many celebrities throughout the years, whatever. But one well-known singer actor she worked with long before they both rose to prominence in the 1990s was sister star Marques Houston. During the early days of her career, Brandy worked as a background singer for Houston's group Immature. Okay. So, and grew up relatively close to the singers while touring with them as they promoted their music. Like most teenagers, there were a lot of fun and games that occurred between them all. But one practical joke almost led to a fatal outcome for Brandy in Houston. Okay. The pair first started working together in the 1990s after Brandy's singing talent caught the attention of the talent manager, Chris Stokes. At the time, Stokes was managing Immature, an R&B group consisting of Houston, Jerome, and Kelton. I'm not reading shit. The group performed in a talent show that Brandy was also competed in, and Stokes was immediately impressed by the young songstress. Brandy sung exceptionally well, the burlesquer said on Brandy's VH1 Driven. I want to actually sign her for a production contract. Yeah, we're not reading this. Where is it? Okay, so though singing backup for Immature was her job, Brandy enjoyed working with the group and had even established close friends with all of the members. Since they were both managed by Stokes and toured together, the teenagers spent a lot of their time hanging out, playing practical jokes on one another, as well as getting into mischief whenever they weren't performing. Although Brandy and Immature would have ton of fun together, there were moments the young singers' hijinks led to several incidents, like the time that Moesha Starr in Houston had a near-death experience after playing a prank. According to the clubbing Kroner, the moment he and Brandy almost died together happened one night in the 90s. While he and the singer were joking around in their old office building, they saw a man working late and decided to mess with him. This is actually a really weird story. Brandy Norwood and I always bring this up whenever we see each other. We almost died together. See, I told y'all death. Just follow Brandy. I try to tell y'all. Houston told Vibe magazine in 2010 it was our old office building that there was a guy who had a back who had a back office. He was working real late one night and we scared him. The You Got Served actor continued. We kept sneaking around to the window and tapping on the back, and he actually came out with a gun and he had not seen it was us. We probably would have gotten shot. That's one of the sneakiest or most mischievous things I've done when I was young. Okay. So yeah, Brandy told him to go knock on that motherfucking window. He did, and the man came out and almost shot his motherfucking ass. So just like she threw that fucking book and hit that boy in the eye, and just like Hakeem died, just like Ohaji, girl, look, Kim got fat and her face got droopy. Girl, she killed them people on the highway. Girl, girl, Brandy, go sit your dark cloud having ass down somewhere. So, yeah, I just wanted y'all to know that I told y'all, she a fucking dark cloud. I try to tell y'all. Moving on. Sound off Marques Houston molestation allegations. Let's get into it. Last week, the internet was abuzz when molestation accusations against singer Marques Houston and manager-producer Chris Stokes resurfaced. Former B2K and band member Demario Rasby Thornton released a video featuring a disturbing conversation between he and former labor mate Quindon Tarver. The two former teen heartthrobs shared graphic war stories over alleged being molested by Houston and Stokes, Rasby's cousin, during their young musical careers. Okay. Now, y'all already know, and if y'all don't know, it's a lot. So, is this Quindon in regards to the videos that had leaked of the recent Demario Rasby? Yes. Okay. So when that had got out, Quindon didn't know that Rasby was recording him during that conversation. Hair flip. Who? Hold on real quick. Y'all know I gotta be nosy. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, I can't see. Where is she? If Jaguar Wright is here, hi girl. Y'all be nice to her. Don't be cussing her out and stuff. Don't be cussing her out. Don't be cussing her out. Don't do that. If y'all have something to say to Jag, please go say it in her chat. Y'all know that is not something that I do. So if y'all have something to say to her, please wait till she's live and go say it. Do not cuss her out of my chat. I don't have a problem with Jaguar. I don't. Like, let's not make something out of nothing. So yeah, I don't have a problem with her. Thank you, Jag. Hi, all you $5 support what you're doing here. Thank you. I appreciate that. So shout out to Jaguar Wright. Y'all don't come for her. Like it's annoying. I can drag her if I wanted to drag her and I don't. So and that's not why we're here. So shout out to Jag. She came peaceful. Leave her be. I just don't have time for it. If I'm gonna hate her, I can do it on my own. I don't need nobody help. So the people that's saying stuff to her, cut it. I don't like it. I can do that by myself. So shout out to Jaguar. Thank you for watching. So with this situation, girl, with all this shit that's popping, I just feel like Marques Houston could have said something. And Marques did not have a response for when Quindon and Raz B had that conversation that they had on the phone. Okay, girl. So here, flip. So Marques, why you didn't say nothing when all of this stuff was going against Chris Stokes and all this stuff coming, all these allegations? Chris at least responded. So I will give him that. It's kind of hard to avoid when everybody's running around calling you the M word. The CM word. That's a lot. So but you never said anything, Marques. So you best believe, girl. You best believe that gives some motherfucking conscience, because we're not done. We're not done. Let's get into it. Let's get into speaking of what Chris, had to say. So when all of this stuff, what's going on, about these, these allegations against Chris, and that's about the sexual abuse, these two came member Raz B against Chris Stokes and Marques Houston have resurfaced amid rumors about the latter's fiance. After rumors began spreading that Marques Houston had been dating his fiance since she was a minor, past allegations against him involving minors started to resurface again. This week, after it was brought to the public's attention that the 38-year-old Marques' fiance, Mia Dickey, is reportedly 19 years old, folks began speculating just how long they had known each other and when they actually got together. One Twitter user not only denounced their alarming age difference, but also claimed that Marques had known Mia since before she turned 18 and pointed out the fact that they made the relationship public shortly after she became a legal adult. Now, y'all know I done basically proved the fact that Marques done already knew Mia through Chris Stokes' daughter, through his daughter. I've already done a video on that, so make sure y'all go check that out. I proved the fact that Marques knew Mia before. And Chrissy Stokes is, girl, Chrissy, I know Mia was at your motherfucking wedding, bitch, and your wedding is on YouTube, girl. So you best believe I still been looking through that footage because I know she fucking there. Because Marlena was there. Why wouldn't Mia have been there, girl? You just got married a few years back. We're not going to make it seem like you got married 7, 8 years ago, girl. You didn't. 10 years ago. No, you didn't. Girl. No, the fuck you didn't. Marques said that he met Mia at a Jehovah's Witness event. And that event that Marques was at, girl, that I showed y'all Marques getting baptized and shit. And Chrissy Stokes was there. Mia could have easily have been there already because Mia was already hanging with Chrissy. There are pictures that go back to Mia looked like she 15, 16 years old. Like the pictures that they go back. She was not 18. She was not. Mia was a minor in that fucking picture. That's why I pulled it up. So if Mia knew Chrissy, why wouldn't Marques not have known Mia when Marques and Chris Stokes are inseparable? Chrissy looks at Marques as a brother. They're close. Weird. Hair flip. Weird. So, can someone please explain why Marques Houston, a 38-year-old geezer, is engaged to a 19-year-old girl who allegedly he knew before she was 18? They announced they were in a relationship 11 days after she turned 18 last October. And now the comments on the Lord, Insta are not limited. And so, Marques, you have a lot of explaining to do because Mia is still a missing person. Cut it out. Mia Dickey. Miana. A whole missing fucking person. And then when she's found, she would shoot at 18. Married her at 19. But we supposed to believe that she just came around. The lies you tell. Like, you're a liar. You are a straight up liar. So, let's get into Black Twitter. So Black Twitter, in 2016, a 15-year-old girl named Miana Dickey ran away from home, dating back to 2015. Miana is listed as an art director for multiple Marques Houston and Chris Stokes films. Miana is currently engaged to Houston. What is going on here? Oops, my fault. So if you click it, they show the thread of the credits that Mia has, and then the credits date back a few years. So with the credits dating back years, that would have meant that Mia, she was a minor already getting credited for doing big Hollywood work. No different than Marlena. Marlena was credited in a lot of Chris Stokes' films as for fashion and the costume creators and all of that shit. Marlena, the girl that Marques Houston was engaged to before, and they broke up and then Marques got with Mia, and Marlena was at Mia's wedding. Girl. So Marques Houston was engaged to Marlena. Marlena and Marques broke up, and Marques got married to Mia, and Mia was and Marlena was at Mia's wedding. So she was at her ex-fiance's wedding. Y'all going to y'all ex-fiance wedding? She was that comfortable. And her and Marques had just broke up. So how weird. Oh my goodness. Marlena got married to another Jehovah's Witness, and I did a video about that too. So she's married. She got married. Yeah, and he was in a band. He was in a group. That the dude that she got married to. Girl, it's I'm telling you, it's a wicked web. It's a wicked web. Girl, it's a wicked web. So okay, this is the same thing. Okay, so. And then there's just a bunch of tweets of people talking about what Raz B talked about, and so on and so forth. But Chris did have some stuff to say, okay? And this is the leaked footage, and let's get into this, because this is when Quindon came forward and he said that he did not know he was being recorded. This is what Quindon was talking about. So let's get into it.
Chris is on the band. Marques was right there next to me. Was he trying to penetrate me? And then I told him I was bleeding. I said, it hurt. Wow, what the fuck? It hurt, dude. It hurt. It hurt me. I'm a kid. So he was like telling me that it's okay. I was like, okay, it's okay. You put a dick in my booty hole, bro. And fuck me, my nigga. With Chris laying on the bed watching with the big ass polo.
With Chris laying on the bed watching. So let's not act like this ain't what this motherfucking man said. I'm gonna need y'all to cut it the fuck out. It's what he said. This ain't us, Chris. This is him. So if you have a problem, Chris, I would advise you to talk to the people that are making these statements. So Marques Houston came out with this long ass, fake ass explanation into Mia and saying that the credits were fake, that people were putting on her for Chris Stokes' films and stuff like that. That's not real. They made up the Wikipedia, and all of that. And all of that bullshit. So yeah, fuck you, Marques. Because this man is not lying on you, and Quindon's story has not changed. It just hasn't changed. So people always tell me, especially like, oh well, Sean, you need to watch what you say. You can get in trouble. This and that. Okay, whatever, girl, not Scott. So Chris Stokes has always alleged that he was going to sue people. Okay. I believe I still don't have the receipt. Let me see. Do I have it? Oh no, it's not on this computer. Damn. Okay, so but he alleges that he didn't sue before, or is this it? Oh no, this that bitch Tasha K. So he alleges, girl. He alleges that just because he didn't sue in the past doesn't mean he's not going to sue now. Okay. Raz just made a post a few days ago, last week, about people supporting, pedophiles, and stuff like that. And so, Raz making that post, Chris put up a post stating that, what I didn't do in the past doesn't mean that I won't do it now. Now, Chris has never sued. Yeah, Chris has never sued any of the victims. Okay. He has never sued anybody that has had an allegation against him. He hasn't sued Raz, he hasn't sued Ricky, he hasn't sued anybody. Quindon, he hasn't sued any of those people. Trust me, I know, I looked it up. He didn't sue any of these motherfucking people. But Chris did sue somebody. He did. Yeah, Chris did take out a lawsuit on somebody. And let's get into it. Why not? Producer Chris Stokes wins $1 million defamation lawsuit against Straight from the A blogger. So you guys saw producer Chris Stokes actually served Straight from the A blogger Michelle Brown with a lawsuit because of what he believed was flagrant defamation of his character and image and ceaseless harassment for the past several years. Brown, for the turn, found out the freedom of speech is actually not free under certain circumstances, and it cost her millions of dollars to learn that lesson. Court documents state a suburban Los Angeles court ruled in favor of Stokes in the amount of just more than $1 million because of Brown's relentless stories, writings, and YouTube postings about Chris Stokes' alleged sexual relations with the then underage B2K band members, most particularly Raz B. The fucking lawsuit judgment also forces the tenacious Straight from the A blogger to take down all of the defamatory and inflammatory material related to the Stokes immediately. It didn't help matters, presumably, that Brown posted such continuous Twitter exchanges between herself and Stokes. She wrote, laughing my ass off at Chris Stokes 1969. Coming from me, I like men, you like boys. Mine is legal, yours get you locked up, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, so she's like came for Chris, you know, and stuff like that. I've never done any of those things. And so I'm not fucking worried about it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about you, bitch. So I don't give a fuck about you suing me. I don't care none of that shit, bitch. I'm not stalking you, bitch. You're just mad hoe. So Chris, you're mad at me because I'm a very badass bitch. Okay. Christopher Stokes. Back in the day, when you were managing B2K, they often talked about how they ate Boca burgers and, you know, how they had to sneak certain foods, you know, and things in that nature. You know, and how you also deprived them of money. When the MTV Cribs, you know, was shown, you know, you lied about everything. When none of them boys, you made millions of dollars, you know, off of these young men, and they reaped none of the benefits of the. You financially kept restraint on them. You did it with the girls. They weren't allowed to date girls. They weren't allowed to talk to girls on the phone, you know, and stuff like that. Chris, I remember it all, and I can pull it up. It's not a problem. But you have a lot of character traits of other people that are just like you. Okay? And let's get into those people. Why not? And so when you guys are bored, go to E and check out Dirty Pop, The Dark Secrets of Boy Bands Revealed, okay? So I find ones that are in particularly interesting, you know, like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, the rival that they had, that they were given due to Lou. And Lou managed both groups. Lou managed, Lou Pearlman, he managed Backstreet Boys, and he also managed NSYNC, all right? Now, when he was in the group when he had them in groups, you know, and all this stuff, they were deprived a lot of things like money. You know, you sat down with these boys after they had just made $10 million. Lou Pearlman has sat down with, you know, 98 Degrees, NSYNC and, you know, Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys in particular, they had just made $10 million off of their sales of music, off their album, just one album, off their album, the cassette tapes that they made of it, the memorabilia, just all of the shit, you know, they had the merchandise, all of that. They made $10 million. You know, he sat down with these boys and wrote each of them a check for $10,000. It's in this article. And there's a big documentary that was done on this. So Lou Pearlman sat down with these young men after they had made $10 million, what they had just grossed, and wrote each of them a check for $10,000. Oh yeah, he robbed the fuck out of these men. Absolutely. And still, when he got caught, mhm, and still, when he got caught, he was still benefiting off of them. He still got a percentage of everything that they did. Everything. Mhm. It's called white privilege. So, here, flip. And he did the same things that you were doing, depriving them of certain food, depriving them of girls, and then alleged sexual assaults. We're going to get into that as well. So it's no different than in sync. It was the same thing with a lot of things that went on with them. When they went Lance Bass, with him being in the group, afraid to come out because he knew that it would ruin the group. Hence like a J-Boog or, Little Fizz and Omarion not wanting this to come out, just based off of, being connected to being gay. It's literally a career ruiner. So, I mean, it's factual. It's a career ruiner. So Lance Bass, with all the white privilege and everything that he fucking has, for him not to even want to come out, and he withheld his secret to protect the band. It's in this documentary. Lance says it out of his own mouth. Let me read y'all the shit. Fuck this shit. Where is it? Okay, well, let's read this to state what Lou Pearl did. But after their use of fame, they have the same experience as BSB, which is the Backstreet Boys, did, with Lance recounting Pearlman's presenting each member of the band with a check for just $10,000 at a dinner after they had sold over 10 million in records, and the first time they had been paid, aside from the receiving a daily stipend of $35. So not only did he do that to the Backstreet Boys, he did the same thing to NSYNC. So why would I not think that everything that happened with B2K didn't happen with Immature and they were first? You did the same shit. You financially exploited these boys. You robbed them blind, just like Lou Pearl. And he held certain things over them. Just like you did with B2K and Immature. You would hold things over B2K to try to make them feel like they needed to be as successful as Immature or more successful. So you pinned them against each other. Because IMX was still a group while B2K came out. You did the same thing. Lou always made NSYNC feel like the Backstreet Boys had a problem with them, and they didn't. Because Lou was doing the same thing to them, making the Backstreet Boys feel like NSYNC had a problem with them. And that's not, they had no issue. The problem was Lou. Just like the problem was you, Chris. You were the fucking problem. Get the fuck out of here. So let's get into Lance. Okay, so the 90s were a different time, Lance explained. If you came out, if anyone knew that you were gay, it was a disaster. And people would really flip out. I felt like if anyone found out I was gay, the record label would immediately drop us. And the fans would hate us. These were all the crazy things that went through my head as a teenager. So I trained myself into being a certain person and became that person. So basically tricked myself into being a heterosexual so that I could be heterosexual is what he's saying. So let's keep going. Include talking about girlfriends in interviews, including Boy Meets World star Danielle Fishel, or however you say the fuck her name. When I was 19 or 20 and everyone started having serious relationships, that's when I really started feeling the depression for the first time, Lance admitted to ET. All the guys had girlfriends and we'd get a couple days off and they would be with girlfriends and I was the only one who didn't have anyone. That's when I started getting really scary and feeling like because like I can't keep this ruse up much longer. He also told Andy Cohen, who was having sex with women while he was in the band. He said, I was doing it and doing it well. He said on Watch What Happens Live. We did it and we did what we had to do to survive. So he's admitting I was sleeping with women knowing I was gay. I did it to keep a pill for the band, for the group. So Chris, why would J-Boog, Fizz, or Omarion want to come forward and state anything without getting labeled as gay? Being abused, Chris, doesn't make you gay. But it's hard to distinguish the two when something gay is happening and you're a part of it. That's how most heterosexual men feel. That's why most of them don't come forward with abuse. That's why most of them don't do it. Especially the ones that know that they're heterosexual. You being forced basically into a situation does not make you not heterosexual. But a lot of men just can't get over that aspect. It's no different than with Whitney Houston. Her family wanted her to keep what happened to her on the low because they didn't want her being associated with being a lesbian, although she dated Robin. Whitney married a man. She got married to Bobby. She did. She did. It could have been because she loved him, or it could have been because she was doing it to show face, to protect an image. Her and Robin were too close. People were starting to wonder. So it's no different. Why would these men want to come out and say anything without being connected? You know, so who? Christy Stokes here? Christy in the building? Is Christy in the building? Did you bring your daddy? Did you bring your daddy, girl? You bring your daddy, girl? Anyways, her flip. So yeah, you gotta fuck that. So hair flip. So look how Fizz responded by calling Raz the F word. Hurt people, hurt people. Hurt people, hurt people. Hurt people, hurt people. When you have not identified in the abuse that has happened to you, it's really hard. It's hard. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task. Christy here, girl. Would you like me to drop the link? Where is she? Is she here? Would you like me to drop the link, girl? If not, Christy, girl, shut up. You got your own YouTube page, girl. You got your own YouTube page, girl. Go over there. You and your husband and that baby. Y'all go over there. And Christy, are you in the building, girl? Because I'm looking at the chat. They keep talking about some Christy. What's T? Are you here? Would you like me to drop the link, girl? If not, please shut up. Please shut up. Yep, I'm talking about your daddy. What about it? What about it? And I'm going to keep talking about your daddy. What about it? What about it? What about it? Hair flip. What about it, girl? So if you don't want me to talk about your daddy, come up here and make me. Bring your dad, your husband, bring whoever you feel like you need to. If not, girl, shut up and enjoy the show. Because I'm going to keep on talking, girl. You don't run shit just like your daddy done, girl. Your daddy ran B2K, bitch. I'm not in that group. Girl, like I said, fuck your whole family, girl. Yeah? Everybody you related to. Everybody. Don't leave nobody out. Nobody out. Don't leave anybody out. Everybody you related to, girl. Your daddy did a lot of dirt. Your best bet is to, girl, you better be R. Kelly kids to this shit. You better be R. Kelly kids to this shit. You see, they ran around probably thinking their dad ain't do none of this shit too. They had to find out the hard way, just like you. Girl, go sit down somewhere. If you don't want me to drop the link for you, girl, please shut the fuck up in my show, girl. Your daddy don't run shit, so why you feel like you do? Bitch, I don't bother you. Don't come bother me. You got a whole Instagram page. I'll leave you be. It's all type of shit I could go on your motherfucking page and say. It's all type of receipts I can drop. Girl, don't play with me. Go have your ass a seat. Girl, better go sit your ass down somewhere. Girl, fuck you and your daddy. What about it? Girl, don't if you thought I was going to be anything of respectful, you got the game twisted, girl. Fuck your entire family. Every sibling. All the way down to the unborns, girl. Shit, y'all are living off of an empire of evil. Shit, girl, please. And you especially sitting there with all this wild ass shit going on with Mia and Marlena and all this shit. Girl, shut the fuck up, girl. You are right there with them. Girl, you are right there with them, girl. You are a part of it. Girl, please. Girl, hair flip. Shut the fuck up. Girl, shut up. Shit. Girl, shut up. You are the wrong one. Right messenger, wrong fucking person. It got to be another family member that come forward to say something. You can't say shit. You're involved, girl. Go sit your big head ass down somewhere, girl. Fish looking bitch. Go sit down somewhere, girl. You try to, girl, fuck your whole family. Shit, I don't want to leave nobody out. Shit, y'all is over there living off of blood money. Shit, girl, you talk to the wrong person. Go get in your daddy face. Shit, go get in your daddy face. Shit, everybody ain't lying on you. Okay, everybody just lying on your daddy, girl. Oh, okay, girl. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, girl, shut up. If you don't want me to drop the link, girl, you don't run shit. You better ask your daddy. You don't run a goddamn thing. So they did that to show face. Lance didn't come out with his sexuality because he wanted to protect the group. And a lot of people go through that. A lot of people do. Now let's get into the accusations, and it's so weird that these same accusations. Oh, Christy, girl, stick around because I'm really about to piss you off, girl. Stick around, girl. Give me about 5 more minutes, girl. Ooh, I'm about to have you hot, girl. I'm about to have your blood boiling. So, let's get into Christy's friend, Lou Pearlman. Music managers are more interested in boy bands, okay, and more than interested in boys more than bands, okay. So let's get into it. October 10th, 2007. Awaiting trial, and this is an interesting year, 2007, the same year that Raz B came out with his accusations against Chrissy Daddy. Yeah, bitch. When Raz came out with these accusations against your pappy. Yeah, that fucking burlesque. So, girl, after awaiting a trial on fraud bank charges, girl, and accused of scamming thousands of senior citizens out of millions of dollars, Lou Pearlman, the pop music impresario who founded the Backstreet Boys, now facing the prospect of life in the big house, very different from the 15,000 square foot mansion he once occupied outside of Orlando, Florida. So, just what took place in that house, complete with a movie theater, video games, pool table, swimming pool, and a planned bowling alley, has become the focus of a series of very different allegations by young men who claim Pearlman acted inappropriately, molested them, or sought to exchange sex for their careers. Christy, do that sound familiar? Christy, do that sound familiar? In November, in the November issue of Vanity Fair, Pearlman, for the first time publicly, is described by several former singers, aspiring singers, and their parents as a leecher girl who used the same deceptive charms to cop cheap thrills off of teenage boys as he did allegedly bilk 1,400 investors out of more than 300 million. Pearlman has since denied the allegations from prison. Does that sound familiar too, girl? Christy, does that sound familiar? But everybody lying. Everybody just lying. All because your daddy bought you stuff your whole life and he's been so sweet to you. He spoiled you. Okay, girl. Well, did you know he was using blood money to do it? Yeah, you tried it, girl. Yeah, you tried it. So, yeah, this sounds familiar. Yeah. Since denied the allegations from prison. And Permanent's dead now. He died in prison. Hopefully that won't sound familiar to you, Christy. Hopefully your daddy don't die in prison. Yeah. So in the late 90s, just as the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, Pearlman's biggest boy bands, hit it big in the United States, Pearlman was grooming a stable of youngsters to take their place. After auditioning these kids, some as young as 13 were relocated to Orlando, where they would regularly rehearse and spend their free time at Pearlman's home. Okay. Another group of young men regularly at the house were a staff of personnel assistants, some of whom Vanity Fair, they were promised jobs in bands in exchange for providing sexual favors to Pearlman. While some boys and young men heard only rumors, some told Vanity Fair and ABCnews.com that Pearlman exposed himself to them, showed them pornography, took them to strip clubs, gave them sensual massages, and openly propositioned them. They also said that they saw other young people leaving Pearlman's bedroom late at night. Some joked about it. I remember one singer asking me, "Have you let a Lou below you yet?" Steve Mooney told Vanity Fair in his early 20s, Mooney worked as Pearlman's personal assistant and lived in his home for 2 years in hopes that he would be put into one of Pearlman's bands. "I'll never forget this as long as I live." Mooney told the magazine one evening in 2000, when members of the group O-Town were being selected, He leaned back in his chair in his white terry cloth robe and with white underwear underneath and spread his legs. And then said, and these were his exact words, "You're a smart boy. Figure it out." So if a man is sitting the fuck in front of you with his legs open, with just a robe on and some white underwear, and open his fucking legs and tell you you're a smart boy, figure it out, what the fuck you think he propositioning? What you think he mean? Chrissy, girl, this got your daddy written all over it, girl. Girl, this is your daddy, girl. And so while Mooney and some of the other and some of the older band members accused Perlman of outwardly looking for sexual favors in lieu of advancing their careers, the younger boys remember Perlman more as a sleazy uncle. Lou's house was a fun place to hang out. Tim Christopher, 24, told ABC News there was a pool table and slot machines. Christopher moved to Florida from Minnesota at 13 as a part of a band, Take 5. Okay, so he was 13 years old, moving from Minnesota to where Lou Pearlman was in Orlando. Okay, Christopher recalls 2 incidents in which Pearlman exposed himself in front of him at 13. There was one time where he answered the door naked, he said. Another time, Christopher and a bandmate, Jeff Clay Goodell, then also 13, so both of them were 13, had fallen asleep at Perlman's house. They woke up to Perlman jumping into the bed with them. He jumped into the bed in his towel, said Goodell. Now 23 and a senior in college, he rolled all over us and then his towel fell off. Goodell said that he was 13 or 14. Perlman took him and his brother Ryan, then 17, and also a member of Take 5, to a strip club. So he took a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old to a fucking strip club. A strip club. Now, this is the same man that worked for NSYNC, the same man that worked with Backstreet Boys, O-Town, and among other groups. You don't think anything? NSYNC has stories. I heard Justin Timberlake stating how uncomfortable Lou would make him feel in the way that he would act around him, especially when they were alone. You don't think these men have stories? They're just not coming out with them, but there are plenty. I'm sure if the band members actually sat down collectively and talked about inappropriate activity, who knows if any of these bandmates, Lou is known. Let's keep going with this article. It was one of those days where he had gone through our normal routine time and ended up hanging out together at Lou's house, he said. The strip club name that came up and we ended up going. That was weird, but it wasn't happening all the time. My mom had a sense that things shouldn't be like this. 13-year-olds shouldn't be going out with adults and hanging out until midnight. At the time, one parent of each of the 5 boys lived in a house with the boys on a rotating basis. Goodell said his mother didn't know about the strip club incident at the time. So she didn't know about the strip club. Imagine what else she didn't know about, like him rolling around in the bed with them and shit, and all of that with a towel on and the towel coming off, exposing himself, rolling around on a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old boy. Like, oh my God. But let's keep going. And so and then where were we at? Didn't know. Okay. And then another night, a brother one of the boys was injured in a car accident. His mother left for the hospital in Miami and dropped the boys off for the evening with Perlman. Perlman screened a Star Wars film, but another movie was interrupted with a pornographic video. Okay? So he's showing porn to these young men, these 13 and fucking 14-year-olds and shit. Because we were minors, there was that night was the only night I ever stayed at Lou's house, said Ryan Goodell, 27 now, second year, a law student in Los Angeles. He says, we were watching Star Wars and all of a sudden a porno came on. It was literally 10 seconds and then it got turned off. We were all teenagers snickering and he made some excuse, Ryan said. Who knows what he was thinking? We were all trying to be cool. Big Papa, because that's what he had them call him, Big Papa. What R. Kelly have his girls call him? Daddy. Okay. Okay. Chris has a name too, right? Chrissy. What's your daddy name? What's your daddy had him? Okay, yeah. Chrissy, sit down, girl. Sit back, girl. You might learn something, girl. You might fuck around going there and punch your motherfucking daddy. Girl. And so we were trying to be cool. Big Papa Uncle asked Ryan, referring to the nickname Perman used for himself. Oh, he was trying to get a sense of how we would react. Most predators do that. Most predators will see how far they can go with you. Most predators will set you up with little test trials before they come at you. That's what they do. So with Perlman sitting there playing a pornography film in front of those minors, that was him testing the waters to see who's receptive and who isn't. If they all look at this as gross, then I'm gonna have to work at them a little bit differently. But if they just sit here like it don't mean anything, like it's cool, then that's when I know that they have certain, energy when it comes to sex and stuff. So I'm gonna try these, or they'll try to play straight hetero porn to try to get the young boys aroused, and shit like that. So they can see who's affected by it and who's not, and shit like that. Little fucking predator trial runs and shit, bitch. So hair flip. So that's what the fuck they do. So Ryan said that despite that incident with the pornography and the strip club, he is skeptical of some stories. He was skeptical of some stories he had heard. Maybe it's just that Perlman was only willing to take that extra step with the guys like Mooney who were older than 18, which is why I never saw it. But some of these guys always wanted to be in bands and never got into them, and you have to question their motives. If the things they say they saw happen are true, and they didn't say anything at the time, that is just wrong. Meaning that, y'all see all the shit happening, but y'all don't do anything. Basically saying the stories that he was told. Like I done been told some stories, and these were people that were hopeful into getting into the bands, at the time. And since they were still waiting to get into bands, they were telling these stories knowing what was going on, but they didn't say anything, still hopeful that they would get into the band, knowing that they wouldn't get into the band if they told, if they said something, so that's what he's saying. So, where are we? Okay. So many of the boys interviewed by Vanity Fair and ABC News said that Perlman would often offer them massages that he said he would balance their aura or help build bigger muscles. All that motherfucking Illuminati predator ass shit. The aura massage thing, said Christopher. He said he always said that he had a way to fill up on your arm or your biceps so that when you curled your arm, it will make your muscles look bigger. It was weird. Touchy guy, and would sometimes rub kids' abs. Okay? Gross. The boys from Take 5 resent Perlman for other reasons, however. They said that the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, backed by their record companies, sued Perlman to get out of their contracts and collect their money that was owed to them. Perlman switched tactics in promoting Take 5 in an effort to keep the bands making him money, but not enough that the labels would support them in a protected legal battle. The members said Perlman never let them get too big and barely paid them after 5 years of extensive touring in Europe and Asia. They sued Perlman before breaking up the band and leaving Florida. None of the members of the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC would speak to ABC or Vanity Fair. Now, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But we're gonna get into Lou Portman too some more in the next part. Chrissy, before we get out of here, because y'all know I'm about to get out of here. Before we leave, because there are more parts, we'll be coming. We will come with more parts. Chrissy, girl. Now, I'm not about to give out no receipts, but Chrissy, there's this book online, girl. Mm-hmm. There's this book online, and they have a lot to say about your daddy. Have you read it, Chrissy? Chris Stokes, have you read this book? Because we're about to get into it. Get into this. Now, I'm just about to start reading this, and we're going to go over to Station Head. And then we're going to talk more about this. So, I'm going to just start reading this. Now, I don't know. Everything I'm about to read is alleged. I don't know if these are from the actual members, but it sounds like it. And I'm going to just get into this book. Okay. Viewer discretion advised. Everything that I'm about to say is allegedly. Okay. Now, this is called You Are Reading Immature, Random, hashtag randomness. Now, we just going to get into it. Now, at the top, when it says somebody's name, it says that these are their quotes. Okay. And I'm going to just read it. I did not put this out here, Chrissy, girl. I am not coming for your daddy, girl. They are. So come and get with these people. But here we go, y'all. I'm gonna read a couple pages and then we're gonna go over to station head. So this is Don and Don Halfpint. Okay, so here we go. Don, my name is Don Halfpint Santos. I'm Filipino, and well, I'm not on the picture you see because I was molested by my manager, and that's right. And that's right. So the rest of the members of, and so was the rest of the members of my group. I told my mom and dad, so they pulled me out of the group, and I was later replaced by LDB, the group's drummer. He is the one with the curly high top fade. Anyway, I have a part in this story because I'm the original and I want the truth to be told. Chris Stokes is a pervert and a child molester. He hurt me, my friends, and all the people signed to his label. Okay, now let's get into page 2. Kelton, which is LDB. My name is Kelton Reese, Kesey, and I'm the drummer and the background singer of, you guessed it, Immature. And yes, you guessed it, this too, I'm Half Pint's replacement. My nickname LDB stands for Little Drummer Boy, and it's been that way ever since. Come on, man. I mean, I don't want to keep getting raped every night of our tour. Jerome says that we are all downstairs from the studio. Jerome said we were all walking downstairs from the studio. I don't put, I don't either, but we can tell our parents, Marques said. Why can't we? Now, this is what allegedly Rome said. Okay, come on, man. I don't want to keep getting raped every night of or every tour. Jerome said as we're all walking downstairs from the studio. I don't either, but we can't tell our parents, Marcus said. And why can't we? Jerome asks. Because we'll all end up like Half Pint, and I have a brother to support, Marcus said. We all remember how devastating it was for Marcus and Amari to see Marcus's mom dead, and what? And to let alone to watch her cold body laying there in a casket. He says, "Yeah, I feel you, man." Jerome said, snapping back from a daydream, we all began to walk off, and we stopped by Chris. Fellows, and this was Chris. Fellows, I just talked to the producers, and we are scheduled to go on tour tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Chris said with a tiny grin on his face. So we're not going to the award show, Jerome said awkwardly. I'm sorry, guys. I don't make the rules. I just follow, Chris said as he walked away. We just stared at him walking away because we knew he made the rules. I better get home and pack, I said, trying to make bad into good. Yeah, so we can look fly for the honeys, Marcus said. What honeys? Jerome said. Y'all already know Chris ain't gonna let us talk to no honeys. Jerome reminded us. Chris never let us talk to girls or hang with them or go on dates or exchange numbers. Hmm. So what did it would be okay? He said it's because girls are a distraction, but we already knew it was for his own sexual filthy needs. I gotta go pack. See y'all in the morning, Jerome said as he walked away. Mm, mm, mm. Next page. Oh, my fault. Okay, no, it's not the next page. We still go. Okay. Okay, as he walked away. Okay, so yeah, me too, Marcus said, and began to walk away. I started to walk away because the building has so many painful memories being raped. Hey, honey, I heard my mother say as I walked into the kitchen. Hi, I replied. How was the studio? She questioned. It was all right, I said, lying to her to protect our group's reputation. Now, this is allegedly Half Pint. The worst thing you can do to me. I was on my way to the tour bus until Chris stopped me. Hey, Marcus, I can't wait to get close to you and the guys on this tour, he said with a devilish grin. I was all I could say. I just stared at Chris and wondered, why was he so sick? Why did he hurt us so much? Why was he raping us? All these questions that yet no answers to all of my problems. What up, Jerome? I said to him as I share away. Fly, Jerome said. I replied, but not as fly as me, he replied with a silly smirk. We laughed and shared a few jokes until Kelton came and it was time to load the tour bus. We're going to have a great time. Isn't that right, guys? We all looked out the window at our families and began to lie. Yeah, we yelled in the middle of a huge lie. I hated lying, especially to my family. We started driving through the states I never thought I'd travel to. 2 hours later, Chris called me and the guys into the other room, and we started taking pictures, telling us he knows what we need before we need what? Telling us he knows what we need before we know what we need. I started shedding a little tear because of how frightened I was. I looked over at Jerome, who was not enjoying this whatsoever. Keldon looked like he was about to burst out and cry. Stop it! I screamed repeatedly over and over again. I never thought I would be sitting in a room being molested, especially by Stokes. I trusted him we all trusted him. Our parents trusted him. All I could do was why? Then I thought, what if this happens to my brother? He wants to be a star just as bad as I wanted to be one. I didn't want to have to let him face Chris, especially alone. Then I began to think, why didn't I just tell my dad what was going on? Why I didn't get help? I bet that's what you're wondering. Well, I didn't because I was afraid of the press and afraid of not being able to support my little and my only brother. Chris already knew these things. So I began to think Chris, this is the worst thing that you can do to me, which was him thinking of something happening to his brother. Now, all of this is allegedly. All of this is alleged. All of this is alleged. Look, I'm just reading what's on here. I'm just reading what's on here. So we're about to go over the station head. We're about to go over the station head. Chris. You know what this reminds me of when he's sitting there telling this story about when Raz was talking to Quindon. So this is weird. This is weird because it seems as if this is like fake, but it also seems so true. Like, so it's really weird. That's why all of this is alleged. I'm not saying none of this is gospel facts. I'm not saying any of this to be factual, actual. I'm just saying it just sounds too close. It's just too close for comfort. Too close. So I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know. So hair flip. So we're about to go over to station head and talk about this a little bit more. Absolutely, y'all know it's a lot. It's a lot of tea. It's a lot of tea. It is a lot of tea. So we're about to go over there right now. The mods are putting the link in the chat. Thank you, Alexis. If everybody else could do the same thing. So we're about to go over there right now. Christy, you more than welcome to join us, girl. You and your daddy. Come over there and get hooped and hollered at if y'all fucking want to. But the link is in the chat. I'm gonna grab a 2, drop it in there. Ooh, drop it like it's all. I'm gonna drop it real quick. Hurry up. And then yeah, we're gonna go over to station head. So if y'all want to come join us, I would love that. Shut the fuck up, Sean. Okay. Thank you, Miss Songbird. She says, I love your outfit. Thank you, girl. Okay, so we are about to go over to station head. The link is in the chat. You're more than welcome to come and join us. Come join the conversation. Come join the discussion. And we are out. Thank you, everybody. I love you guys. And